This is from Biafrans Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no wrong for them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I thought that remember when me tell you say I got that yeah, I remember that one that called us a prospero. But the way you go like a papa no go. But them way go hero, me tell you what I look pandi, what pandi samiro, me tell you what I day. For me the fella, the rest of man I tell you what I do. Me know that you come to tell them
I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra. May your soul rest in peace.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eye. For other Biafrans and for freedom had to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, we'll never be apart. They fought for our freedom, they died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front, without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart forever, 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 and ever, and ever, and ever.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We play in our history that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
They were starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in our heart, we bleeding inside, tears in our eyes, so I'm following you.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them a motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause we to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. They died for me, for the freedom of my unborn child. We live for the legacy.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes.
flag in the air. Never be afraid. March on, cause we are more than conquerors. Yeah, you know what it is. We must revenge, and we must stand to represent who we are.
Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Fighting a war, knowing the difficulties, the odds against us, there is an element of fatalism and people feeling, well, if the world chooses to abandon us, then perhaps it is better we all perish. They don't ever consider a Biafra not free. They believe in either Biafra free or no Biafra at all. That means none of us living to see it.
I need Biafra freedom. We Biafrans, we need Biafra freedom. For this, I decided, even to die, that Biafra must have its own freedom.
I want us to work systematically towards the establishment of a good, progressive, and democratic society where all vestiges of privilege and social injustice will be abolished, and the rich contribute more for the welfare of the poor. If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, that the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long.
We'll surely come out as a nation because we're fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
This is what Biafra is, the end of the journey for a persecuted, massacred, pursued people. We have made all attempts at a democratic resolution of this crisis. I have offered open elections, plebiscite. I have offered just an open carte blanche suggestion, anybody who can find a democratic way of finding out the wishes of the people, let him suggest it and we will go for it.
Another Savior,
holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior,
holy, holy.
If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. It's in our nature, that's how we are. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at what else again? Pending before the UN in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a time, in a movement that I lead, you think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear. That means you don't know who we are.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on today's program. As many as have joined, wherever you are joining, whether you join on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, any place you are joining, we welcome you. Thank you for being part of the program. It is Sunday, and I wish all of you a very happy Sunday, more especially our Biafran brothers and sisters, Christians. I wish you a very happy Sunday, wherever you are. I wish you a very, very happy Sunday. It is a Sunday, as always, that we come together to talk, discuss, share views together. Remember, it's our Sunday sermon. Every Sunday we go to church to worship. After worshiping in the church, we come back here to worship as Biafrans. I myself am a Christian. I go to church every Sunday. But that does not stop me from fighting for my freedom and being fully part of the Biafra restoration project. So wherever you are, as a Christian, it is your responsibility to speak up and add your voice to the voice of your people to demand for freedom. So wherever you are, if you have joined us, like the program, share it. Don't worry. If they kick you out, try to come back and get the message. If they don't allow you, you can come better. I know that my platform is under heavy attack. The enemies are not happy that we are speaking up, we are saying the truth. And the enemies are of different categories. We have the enemies from the outside, we have the enemies from the inside. Reporting my platform, attacking it, and make sure that it is restricted. So we're having so many attacks on the platform. That is why our views is getting a very big disconnected. The same thing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was facing, Mazi Simon faces, and we are facing it today. So it's no surprise. When we get these attacks, the only thing you can do to help us is to share the program. Once you enter, you share. Don't watch alone. By the time you share the program, you get yourself involved in the radical evangelism, and they can't stop us. When you click like, the algorithm also will notify other people to join us. But when you don't do that, their restriction and their report will have more power than what we are doing. So when they have more report and more restriction and problem, that's why our program is limited. Many people cannot get the information. The notification can no longer go to people. So that is a challenge. The only way we overcome this challenge is by you helping out wherever you are to like the program and share it. Don't worry. Even if they kick you out, try to come back. If you don't see my notification, refresh your notification. When you don't see it, you know the time I come online, check on me, then you can come and join or watch later. So I appreciate everyone that has connected. Happy Sunday once again to everyone that is there. If you have not yet gone to church, when you get there, pray for Biafra. If you have gone, did you pray for Biafra? Did you? And if you are still in the church, please pray for Biafra. It is very important. Pray for our leaders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa. It is very, very important. So I welcome every one of you that is connected on TikTok, those who are connected on YouTube, people who are connected on Facebook, those who are connected on X, Twitter. I appreciate all of you. And I wish you a very blessed and happy Sunday. So today, as you all know, every Sunday evening we have our Sunday program, which we tag Biafra Sunday Sermon. So in this very day, we are going to talk about remaining resolute. Remain resolute in the quest for self-determination, justice, peace, and human dignity. remain resolute in the quest for self-determination, justice, peace, and human dignity. That is what we are discussing today. So before we go into the program, we're going to start the program. As always, as our Mazi and Nnamdi have taught us, we pray before we do anything. We commit whatever we are doing into the hand of Chukwu, and that we are going to do. So once again, I welcome every one of you. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are joining from, friends and justice around the world. May the Almighty God, the creator of heaven and earth, grant us wisdom, courage, discernment, and peace as we gather once again for the Biafran Sunday sermon, as we always do. May God comfort every family that has suffered loss, strengthen every person seeking justice through peaceful means, and guide leaders, institutions to uphold truth, fairness, respect of human dignity. Amen. So, every one of you that is watching and wherever you're watching from, I welcome you, my beloved brothers and sisters. I welcome every one of you wherever you are watching from across Africa, Europe, America, Asia, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Russia, China, Israel, Iran. You're watching from Ukraine or Russia. Every corner of the world, I welcome you to this very program. And I say, may Chukwu guide and protect every single one of you that have joined. Today's message is not about hatred, as always. You know, my message is never and will never be about hatred. It is not about revenge. It is not about violence. It is not about faith. It is about perseverance. It is about perseverance. It is about justice. It is about hope. That is why we are here today, Sunday, and that is why we are preaching the gospel that you must hear. And it is about remaining united in pursuing what many Biafrans believe to be the right of self-determination through peaceful and lawful means. United together in pursuing what every one of us as Biafrans believes to be the right to self-determination through peaceful and lawful means. History teaches us that many struggle for political change and recognition have lasted for years before achieving meaningful outcome. Whether one agrees or disagrees with the goal of Biafran self-determination, it doesn't really matter. Whether you agree with us or you disagree, with our goal of pursuing self-determination, every society benefits when discussions are conducted peacefully, when human rights are respected, when legal processes are allowed to function fairly, and that is what we are all calling for. We have to be united in this cause. Yesterday, I had a program with Master Prophet and my brother Utu Fosal. A program that was focused mainly on the unification of Biafrans and unity. A program that I thought that everybody should be going in the same direction, giving a handshake to brothers and sisters, reaching out to each other, regardless your ideology, regardless your opinion, regardless our differences, regardless the group where you belong. We need to be extending hand of fellowship to one another. But instead of people admiring that move under Mazi Nnamdi and Mazi Samuel, because this is a foundation has been led by Mazi Nnamdi. Mazi Nnamdi take the leads and will follow. The lead the Mazi Nnamdi have taken is to inculcate every one of us into one group. That was why he started by introducing the 100 men, calling our attention to the 100 men. And that 100 men comprises of people from different groups, different opinions, different ideas, come together and focus on one goal, which is self-determination. After making that call, he went ahead to redeem the IPOB that he himself created and put it on the right path and channel the energy of all Biafran, all the aggrieved Biafrans to go back to their root. That was a very wonderful step. What we are supposed to do as Biafrans is to copy from the foundation Mazi Nnamdi have led, since we believe that he is our leader. But instead of copying what Mazi Nnamdi led our foundation, we try to create our own narrative. We create our own interpretation to what has happened. You see many idiots interpreting what has happened in different forms. They interpret the 100 men call differently. They interpret the reborn of IPOB differently. Even when we make a program to call for unity, they interpret it differently. That is how some people have been idiotically, I don't know how to explain it, how people have allowed their brain to be occupied with falsehood, with division, with hatred. You can never think of anything positive. So many of us are so negative minded that in everything you do or say, they must see something negative in it to say. Even if you give your life for them, they will see something negative to say. It is sad. It is very sad. But I hope that some of them will begin to have a common sense, to begin to focus on issues that matters and ignore irrelevant issues. The power of unity. One lesson history teaches us is this: no people succeed when they are divided. Division weakens movement, suspicion weakens movement, personal attack weakens movements, unity strengthens communities. But each time when you say this, some people lock up their mind with their little mentality in their mushroom group where they gather to discuss. And they feel that that can make a difference. It's just a question of time. You will all be disgraced. But of course, you can't shame the shameless. We have seen so many shameless people who have been exposed initially, recently, but yet in their shame, they are still running around and center, preaching what they know is fallacy. That doesn't hold water. They still go ahead and preach it because they are shameless. Unity strengthens communities. As Biafrans, many supporters believe that disagreement should never be among us. Disagreement should never destroy the border, pursuit of peace, justice, and dignity. We should not allow disagreement to destroy the border, pursuit of peace, justice, and dignity. Every family has disagreement. Every organization has disagreement. Every nation has disagreements. The important question is, can people remain respectful while working towards shared objectives? Can people remain respectful while working towards shared objectives? That is the challenge before us all, before you and I. A very great challenge. Self-determination in international law is something that we know exists. What we are pursuing, self-determination that you and I are dying, pursuing about, talking about every day, is embedded in international law. A right, not a privilege, that we have the right to invoke at all times. The principle of self-determination is recognized in international law. It has been discussed in international agreements, including the United Nations Charter and Human Rights Instrument. Self-determination is well spelled out. So it's not as if we are doing something extraordinary or something out of the blues, no. Different countries have addressed self-determination claims in different ways, through negotiation, referendum, constitutional reform, or legal process. But this, in the case of Nigeria, they never choose anyone. They never choose. They neither choose negotiation, they never choose referendum, neither did they choose constitutional reform or legal process to address self-determination in Nigeria. You see, that's why when we come and tell you that Nigeria will never ever succeed, we never ever succeed. It's not just that we are saying it out of hate or out of ignorance. We are saying it based on facts. Because every country in this planet Earth that we know address the issue of self-determination differently on their own way that suits them. Different ways. Some address their issue of self-determination because you find this thing in every country of the world. They address it through negotiation. You negotiate with people who are involved. They address it through referendum. We have seen it across the world. They address it through constitutional reform. They address it through legal processes. But in Nigeria neither addresses it through negotiation, nor referendum, nor constitutional reform, nor legal process. They do not want to abide by any. And yet somebody will come and talk about unity in Nigeria You talk about Nigeria, one Nigeria. Where does that exist? Where does that exist? You see, the bigotry in Nigeria today is emanating all the way from Asorok. Asorok is the headquarters of bigotry. And today you see the fruit they are yielding. That even the security man on the road will tell you that if you were being an Igbo man, he will arrest you. The only thing a policeman need to do and go free is to take the life of an Igbo person. Take the life of an Igbo person and tag him and argue Obi member, and you are free. Nobody's going to ask you. Question closed, case closed. Violence often deepens suffering. Peaceful engagement creates opportunity for lasting solution. What has Mazi Nnamdi be asking for? Dialogue. Through referendum. What did Mazi Nnamdi ask for? Dialogue. Through referendum. Mazi Nnamdi went extra mile to conduct the self-referendum so that if you see it and you feel that you don't agree with it, you conduct yours. But yet, instead of that, they activated international conspiracy to take him out. All we are asking for is justice. And before you can talk about anything unity in the Zoological Republic, there must be justice. Fair hearing. Justice is the foundation of every civilized society. Every civilized society, justice is the foundation. Without justice, there can be no lasting peace. Without fairness, there can be no genuine reconciliation. Without fairness, there can never, ever be any genuine reconciliation. How can you be talking about reconciliation in Nigeria when every day they continue to militarize Biafran land? How can you be talking about reconciliation when every day they continue to persecute the leaders of Biafra? How can you be talking about reconciliation when our supreme leader was judged through a repeal law and sentenced to life imprisonment and sent to Sokoto? How can you be talking about justice? Is that fairness? Is that justice? Look at Mazi Simon detained in Finland without paying attention to his own evidence that was provided. Is that fairness? People from many perspectives have called for legal proceedings involving Mazi Nnamdi and Simon Ekpa to be handled transparently in accordance with the rule of law, due process. We are not asking for pardon. We are not asking for mercy. We are not asking for any special treatment. All we are asking is for the rule of law and due process to be carried out. In the case of our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi and Mazi Simon Ekpa, is it too much to ask? As observers await development in their respective legal matters, many supporters, like we, those of us who are supporting Mazi Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi, continue to advocate peacefully for fairness. That is what we are saying. In all our platforms, we have been shouting and talking fairness. Fairness to Mazi Nnamdi and Mazi Simon Ekpa. Accountability and respect for legal rights. That is all we are asking for. We are not asking for any special treatment. Fairness, accountability, and respect for legal rights. How can you reject an evidence provided against the accuser? No single evidence was admitted. You refuse to admit them. And you use only fake evidence provided to you by the accusers to jail a man. And you call that fairness. That can never be fairness. Can never be fair. Look at Mazi Nnamdi. After the same court in Nigeria has said, let him go. After the court in Nigeria, two courts in Nigeria have discharged him. And yet, they continue to hold him. An international court have declared that he's innocent. Yet they continue to hold him. The United Nations Arbitrary Committee have said, let him go. Yet, they continue to hold him. Do you call that fairness? How on earth will anybody refer to that as fairness? Regardless of political view. Due process and equal treatment before the law are principles that strengthen public confidence in justice system, regardless where it's concerned, whether Nigeria, Finland, or anywhere. Due process. And that is what we have been crying for. Due process and equal treatment before the law and principles that strengthened public confidence in justice system everywhere in the world. But once the case has to do with a Biafran leaders, the standard is changed. The standard is different. Why is it so? And how long are we going to continue to tolerate that? For how long? For how long? Regardless what we do, we have always remained disciplined. We, the Biafran, have remained disciplined, and we will continue to remain disciplined, peaceful and disciplined. Our greatest strength is not anger. My fellow Biafrans, our greatest strength is not anger. Our greatest strength is discipline. Discipline means speaking responsibly wherever you are as a Biafran. We must continue to speak responsibly in our various platforms. Don't waste your time talking about irresponsible people. Don't waste your time blackmailing your brother or your sister. Don't waste your time analyzing videos of your brother and sister that has made with a positive intention. A positive intention that has nothing to do with you. Your name was not mentioned, your group name was not mentioned, but yet you spend all your entire life analyzing video that has nothing to do with your group or whoever you support or whatever you think you're doing. It's a shame. We need to be disciplined. Discipline means respecting life. Respecting life. Discipline means rejecting unlawful violence. Discipline means allowing truth to speak louder than insult. Allow the truth to speak louder than insult. Some of you, all you have in your bucket is, in your mouth, in your brain is insult. You insult and insult and insult, and you end up saying nothing. Look at the ones that are attacking Mazi and Nnamdi today. Go and listen to every one of them. From beginning to end, it's about insult, 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 blackmail, blackmail, accusation, accusation. No evidence. No evidence whatsoever. They can't speak and tell you, look at the evidence. The next thing, they start insulting, cursing, and abusing. That is not discipline. Discipline means allowing truth to speak louder than insult. History remembers discipline movement. History will always remember every discipline movement. History remember people who remained peaceful under difficult circumstances. That is a lesson every generation should remember. A lesson every generation, more especially our own generation of Biafra, we must remember that history remembers people who remain peaceful under difficult circumstances. And we must continue to pray for those who are suffering for our sake. Those who are suffering, our leaders that are suffering, families that are suffering, our Liberation Army, ESN that are suffering. We must remember them in prayer. Across communities, many families have experienced hardship because of insecurity, displacement, economic challenges, and violence. Every innocent life matters. Every child deserves safety. Every mother deserves peace. Every father deserves dignity. We should pray for victims. Support humanitarian effort where possible and encourage lawful measures to protect civilians, our people, and uphold human rights. Protect every civilian and uphold human rights. Don't forget, we must continue to pray for those that are giving their life for us. There are people who are giving their time, their money, their life, everything about them for us to have a meaningful life, for us to be properly represented. We must acknowledge them and respect them. We must. Many advocates have appealed to regional and international institutions to pay close attention to security concern allegations and human rights abuses and humanitarian conditions affecting civilians. And we will continue to do that. We will continue to advocate for international communities to intervene because as it stands today, Nigeria is not backing down. The federal government of Nigeria is part of everything that is happening to the indigenous people in that country of Nigeria. Not just the Biafran, including all that ethnic groups. They are suffering in their hand of the terrorists, sponsored by the government of the day. International attention is needed, and we must continue to call out for international attention. We must continue to speak about it louder. International attention can help encourage respect for human rights. It can help to at least make them respect human rights. It will also help to encourage independent investigation where appropriate. A lot of criminal activities happening in Nigeria are not independently investigated. Many lives are lost. No investigation. But when the international community begins to torchlight it, independent investigation will be done, and we can be able to be having appropriate information. International attention can help encourage peaceful dialogue, protection of civilians, accountability under the law. That is why we will continue to call, more especially the United States of America, to do the needful. I don't know what they're waiting for. They need to do the needful now, before it is too late. They need to do the needful. Constructive engagement is most effective when it is grounded in credible information, peaceful advocacy, and respect for legal institutions. So we must do our own part and do it clearly and diligently. We have a lot of responsibility as Biafrans, you and I. Our responsibilities. Each of us has a responsibility. You and I, we have responsibility in this journey. We should seek truth before sharing information. Seek the truth before you share. Mind what you share. Some of you hear share. You share. You don't even listen to the program. You don't even hear what the person had to say. You're sharing. We should avoid misinformation. We are in a generation of misinformation, a generation of AI, where everything looks real, yet they are fake. Things look very real. You can even swear with your life and say they are, but they are fake. You can't be sure of anything. So we should avoid misinformation. We should reject hatred. Reject hatred. Hating your brother for no reason. Hating your sister for no reason. Developing hatred on people without proper investigation. People that you have not had any transaction with them. You don't even know them in person. You have not even met them. Just that you were told that someone is bad. You begin to hate. We have to reject hatred. We should promote respectful dialogue at all times with everybody, anybody that's open to dialogue. Respectfully, give a handshake to that person and embrace dialogue. We should support peace at all times. We should encourage lawful advocacy. Every positive action matters. Every positive action matters, regardless of what it is. We must support it. And to my younger ones, the younger people out there, to the younger generation, do not allow frustration to turn into hatred. Do not allow frustration to turn into hatred. We know there's a lot of frustration. Sometimes you don't even know where to go. You look at the so-called zoological republic, everything is not adding up. Even in the agitation, when you look at the people who are calling for self-determination, things are not adding up. You look at the left, right, center, things are not adding up. People are just speaking from different angles, different informations here and there. Do not allow frustration to turn into hatred, no matter what. My advice to the young ones: educate yourself. Educate yourself. Learn your history. It will help you a lot. Respect those who disagree with you. People have the right to disagree. People must not agree with everything you say or do. Even as I'm speaking, people must not agree with everything, but you must disagree respectfully. And we must respect those who disagree with us. Whatever their opinion may be, respect those who disagree. Our youth should develop skills, build your communities. Your future depends only on political outcome. Not only on political outcome, but also on your character, education, commitment to peaceful progress. That is for the youth. for our youths. Your future depends not only on political outcome, like we are talking about the restoration of Biafra. Some are talking about their so-called one Nigerian promoting P2P an election. Your future depends not only on political outcome, but also on your own character, your own education, and commitment to peace and progress. Always remember that. Very important. In all the difficult times, we must have faith. Continue to have faith. Keep our faith strong. Every difficult season eventually passes. Every difficult seasons eventually passes. Like the season we are today in Biafra restoration, it is a very difficult time. It is a very, very difficult and brutal time. If you go to social media, if you don't have the mind of your own, if you are not strong enough, you can't stand for Biafra this time around. If you are not someone who has been convinced from deep down in your heart, from your belly, you cannot stand for Biafra now. When you go to social media, you see that the same people you are talking for, the same people you are standing for are the ones that will attack you and destroy everything you have said, destroy your reputation. The same people that you want to be free, they are the people in the forefront, making videos and saying all manner of nonsense against you that is fighting for them. The kind of propaganda they gave Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if people can have the mind to do that, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and what they did to Mazi Simon Ekpa, then who are you? Who are you? Who am I? If people can attack Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today and call him different names, who am I? Who am I? That is why every one of us, no matter the challenges, no matter the insults, no matter the blackmail, continue to do what you have to do. They will try to block us, hinder us, do all manner of things, report our channel, stop us, block us. It doesn't make any difference. That will not make me to stop. As long as I have a platform where I will speak, even if it is only one person watching, I will come and drop my message. I don't care. Even if I come online and there is nobody, I will do my program and leave it there and go. Whether changes come quickly or not. Whether changes come quickly or slow. Maintaining hope and acting responsibly are qualities that endure. Faith gives strength. Hope gives endurance. Wisdom gives direction. Peace gives lasting victory. If you believe in justice, speak peacefully. If you believe in freedom, act responsibly. If you believe in human dignity, respect the dignity of others. Support lawful advocacy. Encourage constructive dialogue. Stand for justice without abandoning compassion. Wherever you are watching this program from, this evening as we are concluding, my beloved brothers and sisters, let us continue to pray. Let us continue to remain united. Let us continue to encourage peace. Let us continue to seek justice through lawful means. May every innocent person living in fear find safety. May the truth prevail. May justice prevail. May peace prevail. May God bless every family. May God bless all who sincerely for peace, justice, and reconciliation. Thank you for joining today's Biafra Sunday sermon. If this message has encouraged you, please subscribe, share respectfully, continue to participate in throughout discussion that promote peace, human dignity, and justice. Don't keep the message to yourself. Be part of this evangelism wherever you are. I appreciate every one of you. And before we leave, we are going to go into their media. Let's see some information we have in their conventional media to wrap up the message of today. Let's see what they have in their conventional media as they continue to do their evil, as they continue to hinder us. We will not allow ourselves to be hindered. no matter how they try, no matter their propaganda, their blackmail, no matter all the lay down plan they are making to stop us, we will not allow them. They make us look small. They make us lose focus. They try to confuse themselves and not us. But in the midst of all the challenges, we shall overcome. We are more than conquerors, and we will continue to go on and on, more than they can ever imagine. So, my fellow Biafrans, we are going to go to their media and get some media updates that they have so that Biafrans across the world can equally be connected to what is happening. Because as I have always said, we are still part of the zoo. You cannot run away from the zoological republic, no matter what happens. Everything that happens in the zoo still happens because they are the one occupying our space. As they are occupying our space, we will continue to pay attention to every single thing they do because it concerns us in one way or the other. It concerns us. Don't say it doesn't concern you. It really, really concerns us. So we need to be paying attention on what is happening in their media. So let's go to their media and get some update from their media station to share for the world to see the true picture of what is happening after we have explained our part. Because in our own, we are not trying to be politically correct as they do in their zoological republic. Their political correctness that is always changing facts to become frictions. We are not part of that. We are different. And we will this evening go into their media to bring some facts. Let's pay attention and listen to what they have to say in their media.
Oluwasomi Lamide, a political analyst and of course social commentator. You're welcome on board. It's my pleasure. As a baby. You're welcome here. Thank you. All right, we also have joining us in the studio, Mr. Ekpa, our social political analyst. Mr. Noah, another Friday again. I hope you will be this calm when you be done with the program because you start calm and later you go on. All right, joining us virtually, we have Mr. Douglas Ataru, a former ABC spokesman, and of course, Nasarawa State National Coordinator for ABC spokesperson. All right. Good afternoon to you. Please, I would like to unmute your device. We can hear me. Mr. Douglas, are you there? All right, so I'm told that your network is somewhat shaky, so we'll just hope that you are settled in properly. All right, I'll bring it to the studio, and Mr. Law, I'll start off with you, just like what we just saw and what is, been read to us. Let's talk about the U.S. intervention, and of course, Kanu. The Congressman John James calls for Nnamdi Kanu release immediately. Does this actually signal a shift, as regards the U.S. and Nigerian diplomatic, relations? Because you'll agree with me that if the U.S. decides to start cutting off aid, to Nigeria, it means a lot. We'll be getting into all of that. But what does this signal? And of course, amidst this political era that we're in.
Yes, thank you. There's a lot of controversies surrounding the conviction of Nnamdi.
How do you mean?
Even starting from the way he was brought, extradited from Kenya. Not even extradited, sorry. He was brought from Kenya down to Nigerian government was told that he didn't follow due process in bringing him, even the court in Kenya, find the Kenyan government for that action. But here in Nigeria, the whole process went forward. And then with all the controversies here and there, I remember Kanu was last minute was saying that he was demanding for the law, the constitution that convicted that they are using to convict him. Still, he was convicted.
But linking this Kanu's detention to present persecution, is it fair personalization, as regards to the situation that made them, convict him in the first place?
One thing is this. I would blame the person who link it with a Christian genocide. Okay? Because both of the Christian genocide itself has been underplayed in Nigeria. We keep saying there's no Christian genocide, and then we keep seeing things like that happening. So if somebody is now coming up, linking everything that's happening in Nigeria here that are, that are, on a questionable note, then what can we say? What can we say? Because we have exposed ourselves to the world, our incompetency here to the world. So what else do you expect? A lot of things, a lot of backlash will be coming towards us. But that's why they are linking it. It's just a way of also reminding us in Nigeria that the issue of that genocide is still going on. That's not been properly addressed.
Okay, let me come to Honorable Nnamdi. What's your take as regards to this? And I love the fact that you are with the ruling party. And of course, I just have to mention that so that we are both clear as regards to whatever submission you'll be making here. And in case we want to blow out to you so you can take it to your party, the ABC. Now, what does this say about your party's administration, starting from that of the Buhari's era? But we noticed that the killings became even seriously during President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's era, and the genocide situation came up. And that was the same period that your principal happens to be the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, running through your party. Yes, he actually changed. He reshuffled. The defense. Heads, and he gave us a Christian defense minister. All of a sudden, what does this say about his administration, the APC's administration?
I'd like to thank you. First and foremost, I want to pay my condolences.
Okay.
Those that are first and foremost, because lives are lost. Particularly Middle Belt and other parts of the country. The killings, banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism are not limited to one location. It's a general phenomenon, and it has been before this administration came in. Be that as it may, I will comment on that. But I want to say that the U.S. Congressman, John James, is entitled to his opinion because that is what is brought before him. And it's what we call political expediency to use and to galvanize opinion against criminalities that are perpetrated by citizens in whatever form. We have to understand that Nigeria is a sovereign state, and there are due processes to be followed when it comes to issues of criminalities. And a court of competent jurisdiction will not sentence a citizen without giving the fairness or his own to, giving his own liberty to bring out his case in defense. We all know what happened in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, and we know how the courts, through different processes, have tried as much as possible to ensure that it was given fair. Well, some will say it was not, but however, we knew how even his own defense counsel come down, they're giving him defense. However, his brother is entitled, because he's his own brother, to ensure that there's a political undertow, expediency, leaky, because he's a Christian. But when he were perpetrating as a leader, did he ever say he was a Christian at that time? Why? When we leak the criminalities in the Middle Belt as a case study, and in Nnamdi Kanu, let us look at it. What was brought before the congressman? Was it fair? It's a one-sided opinion that was brought before him. I would have expected that the congressman himself will hear the second opinion. What is the second opinion? Are you saying that there's no Christian genocide? No, I'm not talking about Christian genocide. Yes, okay, so I'm talking about what I'm saying in respect to the Nnamdi Kanu. Now, for that of Nnamdi Kanu, honorable, please. Yes. For that of Nnamdi Kanu that you're talking about, yes. We've also seen in the north where they say that they are our brothers. They even reintegrate them back after they say they are repented. These are the same people that have said over time that they don't also want any other region. And they even went as far as killing that we all know, we see it, aside from even the, what we call it, aside from, kidnapping people. These people literally goes to our military base, they ransack, they kill people. But when they say they want to repent, don't forget that this particular event situation, we have what we call the safe corridor. That was enacted in Bauchi, if you remember this, Lawan. So this particular system has been ongoing for a while now. And they even have a spokesperson, allegedly, who happens to be Sheikh Gumi, that will say you shouldn't even kill them. You shouldn't even do this. Instead, you bring them in, if they are repented, you allow them to reintegrate them back to the system. The Nigerian infantry, the army, were complaining that why should they bring people they've actually once fought against to integrate them back into the community and bring them into their own midst as well. This happened last year. So if you are freeing some part of the country, the northern people or some, non-state actors that we feel that they are from the northern parts, so we cannot even generalize because this is not about the north now. But if you are freeing some people, if you feel some people can change or what have you, so why does it have to be different for a certain part of the country? And I'm talking about the southeast. It's just a question. Thank you very much. Your opinion is speculative, and at the same time, it's not speculative because it's a policy. Number one, we have on good news that the terrorists, some of them that are captured, we are taken to courts, have been sentenced. Nobody's talking about that. They were sentenced, and there are a lot of them. Even the kingpins are the sentenced. That's one. Secondly, when you say repentance and you say policy, I don't know how the policy, you look at the policy. But when someone comes and you is captured and is ready to, at the level of commitment, that is, I'm ready to be committed to civil obedience. Well, are you going to kill the person that is already captured? Are you going to? So the first thing is we can modernize it in the best practice, where you say, okay, these ones are repentant, because we have some cases that some of them are genuinely repentant, and some went back. Just like you have a prisoner who was released and went back, and some will never go back. And so what I would expect is that it's a process where if government looks at it, and
you see, this is why we say the Yoruba people are evil. When you see us, some of us attacking Yoruba, it's because of this kind of human being. This kind of human being who will try to twist the truth just to favor his evil agenda. Look at how he is trying so hard to manipulate the evil, That a senator in the United States is asking for the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and relating it to the Christian genocide. You say it is not supposed to do that. That it is it's partial. It is this, it is that. And in Nigeria, where they are recruiting the dependent terrorists into the military, you are now trying to explain it with English. This is where sometimes when we talk about the Yoruba people, though not all of them, but some of them are so evil that when they open their mouth to speak, you begin to wonder, where is their conscience? Look at how this idiot is fighting so hard to make reasonable of an unreasonable talk. Look at how he's fighting so hard to make reasonable an unreasonable contribution. God have mercy on you people. God have mercy. That's all I can say.
In the foreseeable future, I felt that it's not practicable in some instances where there should be some mechanism whereby those that are already, repented will be rehabilitated before they are absorbed into the military. So when they are absorbed into the military, they have already been fully rehabilitated from their with their meditated actions. Okay, are you getting it? Now, back to what we are saying, with respect to Nnamdi Kanu. There's a court and there's a due process and there's a rule of law. And Nigeria is a sovereign state. What I expect is that
Nigeria is a sovereign state.
And those that are they have the right to appeal the judgment. And when they appeal the judgment, they'll put up their own argument. And the court is there. The executive should not interfere with what is happening with the courts. But they want to apply political expediency. I want to say that, how about those families that we are extrajudicially
murdered by who?
Whatever it is not.
Murdered by who?
I'm not trying to make.
What about the ones that were also murdered by the terrorists?
Imagine this. This man is evil. This man is evil.
Okay, now let's start from that. The way Kanu was brought from Kenya to Nigeria, is it normal? Is it according to our law here, or did they use some kind of law somewhere?
God, ask him.
And then
Let
they
him
went ahead
answer
with
it.
that process to try him for something that was,
And in their court, he has been vindicated in several occasions in the court, and he rejected it.
And then he went ahead with it. Have you considered how he was brought from Kenya to Nigeria and then subjected to trial? Second, have you considered that even this Kanu you are talking about, the only thing they use against him is something that has to do with verbal. You never caught him with a gun. You never caught him with weapons. He wasn't caught in a place of action. And he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Good. But these terrorists were talking, he said it's a policy. Now, is it, even if you want to integrate a repentant, by a terrorist, by someone who has committed a grievous crime, as killing others, collecting ransom and everything, the only place you have is the military. Why don't you integrate them into the local government, where they will be doing some kind of linear work, where you will be monitoring them, more or less like they call it community service. Yes, until you are sure that these people have all truly repented, and then the only place you can put them is a place of security that actually, let me take it to our virtual guest, Mr. That doesn't make sense.
I'm told he's actually in now. But Honorable, I would need to mention this just for clarity that the same way we have Nnamdi Kanu, that we have some northern jihadists or what have you, they want to call themselves. That's the same way we also had Sunday Igbo in the West. But guess what? Sunday Igbo has been pardoned and has been forgiven. He also wanted a Yoruba nation. The same way Nnamdi Kanu said that he also wanted Biafra. So why are we not using a fair treatment for everybody? That's just a question that you will come back to later. But let me come to Mr. Douglas Otaro. Mr. Douglas, are you there now?
Yes, I'm with you. Good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome on board, Mr. Douglas. All right, quickly, I believe you have been following the program, so you know where we are present. All right. Let me pick. Yes, I would like you to respond to the latest situation as regards to the US calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and of course stopping the Christian genocide. What impact could the US statement have on Kanu's ongoing legal process? And of course, let's talk about public sentiment in the Southeast. What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, let me throw the line of my former colleague who was in the studio here with you, who condole with the families who have lost their loved ones as a result of the insecurity that's bedeviling our nation, Nigeria. Of course, it is when you are directly involved or affected that you know the enormity of, anguish that insecurity in Nigeria brought to families in this country. It is on that note I would not, be unfair to myself not to be objective about my position on these issues this evening. Yes, insecurity in Nigeria is a global phenomenon. It is not only in Nigeria, it's happening everywhere. But our inability to manage the insecurity in Nigeria has been our greatest undoing as a nation. Of course, so many sentiments, have been clouded the basis of our leaders. We do not think right on how to ameliorate the issues. Yes, given the current, circumstance, I'm talking about the current pronouncement by the U.S. congressman. That is purely his opinion, and his opinion is an afterthought. His opinion is coming at a time that the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump himself, has given a pat on the back on the President of this country, appreciating him for taking very drastic steps in, curbing the issues of insecurity in Nigeria. Of course, don't forget that people in this part of the world knows how to lobby, and they are lobbying the congressman to give it a coloration that will appear as if, Kanu was incarcerated. He was eventually taken to court and, jailed for life imprisonment on account of Christian genocide. I will not subscribe to that, because when Kanu was, busy ranting on his, clandestine radio stations, he was not portraying himself as a Christian. Yes, that is not to say there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria. There is a lot going on in Nigeria that needs to be taken care of with regards to religious intolerance, especially on the part of the northern Nigeria that is highly intolerant when you talk about, when you talk about religion. But Kanu's incarceration and his eventual jail term was not as a result of him being a Christian. Of course, Kanu himself has perpetrated a lot of evils through his cronies, not himself directly, because I'm aware he has a partner who was called Simon Ekpa.
Imagine this clan. This is how they roll. Bunch of idiots.
Yes, Kanu did not come to Nigeria to perpetrate the evils directly himself, but he had his cronies who were busy beheading people, destroying properties,
imagine the accusation on live TV, false accusation on live TV. Imagine how they come, they accuse. Imagine how they come. And this man, you see, is one of those idiots from Benue State. These are the same people that were in the front line of the genocide against the Biafrans, that fought the civil war. Look at him, how he is lying on a national TV, painting Mazi Nnamdi kind of evil, telling lies, propaganda, and blackmail, something that he cannot substantiate. Ask him an evidence of beheading, evidence of killing anybody now by Mazi Nnamdi. He cannot provide any. He cannot. But they will come and open their mouth and talk all manner of rubbish. They can open their mouth and talk all manner of nonsense. And it is so sad. It is so sad. It is so sad. It is so sad. I don't know how to listen to this kind of idiots. It is so sad when you see some animals like this come online and speak. It is so very difficult to listen to them.
And when he was incarcerated, unfortunately, the current administration was not the administrator in charge. He was, repatriated from Kenya to Nigeria. Yes, the process of his extradition was faulty, but when he was brought to Nigeria, he had the opportunity of using the legal system, to defend himself. But I'm sorry, he became too arrogant to himself even in court. You will agree with me that even in court, he attempted to fight judges and even lawyers handling his matters. When it was time for him to open defense, he never cared about looking for a defense lawyer. He boasted or arrogated to himself that he could represent himself. And, the court is not at Christmas.
These are the propagandists. See, look at his mouth. Look at an idiot, a fool. Look at him.
Yes, if, the
This is an idiot that his own people in Benue State are dying. They are killing their people every blessed day. Look at him. With that cap he's wearing. Yeah, this is this bunch of idiots in the north. A bunch of idiots that cannot stand up for his own people. He is speaking against somebody who stood up for himself.
He's just an individual in the Congress.
Very shameful, very shameless set of people.
On, the affairs of America.
When you hear them speak, you think they have something upstairs. Look at him.
Nigeria is a sovereign state. Individuals cannot be dictating for a country like Nigeria. More so that
sovereign state. A sovereign state that cannot even protect their assorok. A sovereign state that is always crying to the United States for help.
As regards to Reverend Dachimo's family, and of course 25 others, in real local governments that are, of course, in Plateau State. What does this point out? What does this point out as regards to the failure? Is it that of intelligence, is it deployment, or political will? Because they mentioned that, of course, they reached out to the nearest Nigerian army, and they told them that there was no troops on ground and there is no fear for them to get there. And why does it have to be Reverend Dachomo's family? I'm just asking a question, so I'd like to respond.
Yeah, fine. It's very unfortunate, I must say. In my introductory statement, I did say if insecurity has not happened to you, you might not appreciate the enormity of the pains, it afflicts on the families, directly. Of course, I'm speaking to you today. I'm a victim of insecurity in this country. Mine may not be loud, but of course, I've had my own fair share of it. Yes, Reverend Dachomo, unfortunately, has been affected directly. I empathize with him again. Yeah, what really happened, on the plateau, sometimes it's not just about the insecurity. There are other political undertones to it. And that is why to comment on the issues on the plateau, sometimes we might appear to be very, very sentimental. Yes, on the whole, I want to say that the military's inability to respond swiftly may not be unconnected to corruption that is, reading the entire nation, particularly the military as an organization where the armies are not well funded and they don't respond to emergencies, especially when they have the fifth columnists within their ranks. Blood run through their veins. There is this sentiment that is attached to most of the army officers, who are serving in the military. They find it very difficult to act when it has to do with their own people. So I think the government needs to change all of this, because it is unfortunate for an organization such as the army to say they do not have where to mobilize their operatives, to a crime scene. That is most unfortunate.
All right.
I advise with the Reverend Dachomo. I hope such will not.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. I'll bring it back to the studio now. All right, Honorable, I know you have a lot to say. It's looking like, should I say absolutely? No, I just want clarity. Okay, and I love the fact that you're also, part of the ruling party. Now, let's talk about the state police. Okay, so you would have to, incorporate everything together as regards what you want to respond to. Some are already criticizing that this particular, new police bill would be used by governors, and it will be politicized. How should we actually trust this process?
Thank you. First and foremost, let me comment on what my colleagues just said. Now, when you have a military formation and you have this kind of, there should be accountability. That is what this government is doing. There should be accountability because we are talking about human rights. And when someone passes away, it's not complete. So, it should not be swept under the carpet. That incident should be accountable. Those who are in charge should be held accountable. I will call for an independent investigation to see.
Midtime break right now. Let me put it. Sorry, Nigerians, it is sad, but they are on midtime break.
My colleague Ayo.
Yes.
He has a few questions.
Go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Ayo.
Well, thank you, Kayla. It's very interesting to listen to some of the things that you have said, and I'm just wondering if you have all these
information, you have all these relationships. I'm wondering where you think the place of security agencies is in all of this, because governors have said it over and over again that these terrorists are not ghosts, they are not spirits, they are human beings. They have said repeatedly that we know these people, and you are confirming it now that these people are known. Now, if you know and have all of this information, when is it all going to come to an end? Because from the information coming out from even the Borno state government, they are saying that insecurity is going to reverse the successes that the state has scored in education. And you're saying now that insecurity is not looking like it is going to end. So it wouldn't be those who are listening to you now will wonder why you're not giving all of this intelligence information to security agencies so that all of this nonsense can stop once and for all. All right. Thank you very much for your question, I think, Ella. Look, let me just make things very clear. I like going straight to the point. I don't have anything to hide. Reality is here. Now, you said the state government said something about reversing their policies and all that. Who were the ones who negotiated with them? Who received those ransoms and cut out part of those ransoms and all? The security agencies are doing their best, but we have state politicians doing everything possible to make sure they make business out of it. And all. Now, talking about, we know some of these people give security agencies. Let me make something clear to Nigerians. Senator Alidume has been blocking me from talking to everybody, NSA, DSS, early times before there was even a video. I communicated with him. He blocked me from talking to Nuhu Ribadu. He blocked me from communicating with Nigerian army. Do you want me to go to them? I am an independent individual and I run an organization. The government is supposed to come to me if they need anything like that. I started Operation Sulu with the Zaman Latia. Borno State government and Senator Alidume are doing everything possible to block it from coming to reality. If the federal government wanted to get the truth, they cannot be working through the state government directly. They should in fact bring in private individuals that can give them a parallel report, then they investigate. If not, the business would want to continue. Now Boko Haram is on 40 days break. If they want to argue, let them argue, then I will release an evidence to that. They know and I know. There's nothing to hide. So if they're on 40 days break, people will feel like, oh wow, some people are working, something is happening. But if they're able to mediate and tell them to hold on for 40 days, to hold on for 30 days, then continue.
Is he saying what he is saying? Now, we haven't gotten the rebuttal from the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, that's the NIA. We haven't gotten a rebuttal from the Nigerian Army. We also haven't gotten a rebuttal from the DSS. And when I mean a rebuttal, the response to either contradicts, distance themselves from what he said. The only thing we know so far is that by the following day, they took this man into custody, initially kept him for hours on, interrogated him, denied him access, or let's not say denied per se, but more like when his lawyer came in to, at least represent his client and tell him on what angles or what he needs to respond to and not respond to, or guide him in his responses during the interrogation, the lawyer couldn't access his client, at the last time. Omoyele had to actually talk about this in one of his press interviews. So the big question is, where are we at? If the Nigerian government has begged us to please cooperate with them, work with them in spreading the good news, our military and security agencies are doing all they can to ensure that Nigeria is stable, to protect us internally, and ensure that these elements of darkness who have planned to destroy and truncate the supposed, let's say, clean level of peace that we seem to be enjoying and going about our activities. How come we're hearing what we're hearing? Are there political elites currently in this government who are either 7 senators, 7 House of Rep members, or even 7 governors deliberately doing this? Question is, to what end? If you have most of the governors and most of the senators in the current All Progressives Congress, a party that the president also belonged to, why would you be involved in trying to stabilize the party? What exactly is your agenda? What is your game? Or is there a grand scheme that Nigerians know but are afraid to say? Or there's a grand scheme that security agencies know but are afraid to say? The help from the United States of America, was it Nigerians in diaspora who really wrote and called out the American government to please
force the hand of the government of the day to focus and face this? Or was this a means through which Tinubu wanted that international support to brazenly go about, eliminating these guys and bringing them out? Because we've heard talks about him supposedly being afraid of these individuals, despite being aware of what is going on. Well, a lot is actually taking place. My analyst this evening will help us discuss that. Now, I think what we already know hired a lobbying firm. The job is to ensure that he's clean or whitewashed, or somehow put on a white sheet of paper in the presence of the US, while focusing on his opponent, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Some Nigerians have said, yes, he's doing what opposition is supposed to do. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC did that against Jonathan way back in 2012/2015 before they came into power. And so he's doing the right thing, he's doing what needs to be done. But the presidency has come to react by saying, why do you want to destabilize your government? Why do you want foreign intervention in your domestic politics? You're just trying to create a sense of destabilization. What you're doing is wrong. But Atiku doesn't care and he doesn't mind. And one of the lobbies that Atiku Abubakar actually got to help him push that agenda in the United States of America and also in Congress actually disclosed very recently. His name is Von Batten York, and he described the president as a threat to the stability of Nigeria and the United States' interests. Is that true? Our evidence will help us buttress what this means. We thought that with the president working with the US, with the alleged letter brought displayed by Mr. Bayo Nanaga, whether it's real or not, that they've been able to collaborate and work together. So how is Tinubu's relationship, or how is Tinubu's disposition a threat to America's interests and to destabilize Nigeria? We're going to get the response in there. They made allegations while reacting to the motion by US Congressman John James. I'm going to play that audio for you very soon, who reportedly said that tens of thousands of Nigerians have been slaughtered by terrorists, ignored or enabled by the Nigerian government. I'm sure you heard about what happened with Reverend Achomo. Some of his close kin and relatives were recently murdered by the Fulani ethnic militia. He actually saw this coming. He had talked about it. He hasn't been expecting that they will come for him, and said that his life is actually at stake, but he doesn't mind so long as the Christian genocide stops. Well, in a statement, the lobbying firm, which was retained by Atiku under a 12-month, $1.2 million contract, that's some huge money, man, thanked the congressman for raising the issue on the floor of the United States Congress. It noted that members of Congress were increasingly speaking out against the Tinubu administration. So according to him, he went ahead to disclose, however, that they're taking action, speaking out against official bad and the learning of his alleged corruption, drug trafficking, disregard for rule of law and order, tampering with the judiciary, and an attempt to keep political opposition like the ADC, Nigeria NJ from the upcoming Nigerian presidential election, and that the list goes on. In the same vein, Nnamdi Kanu's name was also mentioned, and asked him that the Nigerian government release him as soon as possible. Why would he be in prison for saying the truth exactly with what is going on concerning insecurity in Nigeria? We're going to take a very close listen to him. Now, if you recall, on the very day that Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced to life in prison, the following day, or was it the day before that sentencing, Congress sat. That was when we were discussing the proposed Christian genocide. And immediately Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced, the following day they sat down. This particular House of Rep member, James, called out Tinubu's administration and talked about Nnamdi Kanu being sentenced to life imprisonment. That was the first time. The second time again, when Congress recently sat, he called out President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, disclosing that Trump should, as much as possible, enable the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So let's take a listen to this very quickly.
Former chairman of the Africa Subcommittee, who is now over at the Energy and Commerce Committee, John James, and I want to thank him. In February of 2024, he had a very important hearing on Nigeria and other advocacy throughout that time. So, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for your personal invitation, for your leadership, and for your friendship. I'm honored to be back. Psalms 96:14 asks, "Who will rise up for me against the wicked? Who will take a stand for me against evildoers?" Nigeria is facing one of the gravest religious freedom crises in the world. As the former chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee on Africa, I have visited and have seen firsthand the direness of the conditions in what is now the deadliest place on earth to be a Christian. They are targeted, displaced, and killed simply for their faith. The ancient plea, "Is there no help for the widow's son?" still echoes today. Since 2019, nearly 17,000 Christians have been killed. In the first 7 months of this year alone, hundreds more were murdered. On June 13th, during the Yellowwater Massacre, more than 280 Christians were slaughtered in a single day. These are not isolated tragedies, but a sustained pattern of religiously motivated violence, often ignored or even enabled by the Nigerian government. Extremist groups like Boko Haram, Fulani militants, and ISIS West Africa attack often without any meaningful intervention from authorities. The lack of response has created an atmosphere of impunity where Christians continue to live in constant threat and fear. The United States has previously recognized this crisis. President Trump not only designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern during his first term, but redesignated it again in his second term after President Biden inexplicably removed that designation. Religious persecution is tied to political repression and weakening institutions in Nigeria. Example, the detention of Mazi Nnamdi is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges. For fiscal year 2025, the U.S. has requested nearly $8 billion for sub-Saharan Africa. But when Americans see political prisoners, judicial defiance, and the slaughter of Christians, they understandably ask as they meet their own struggles, why should our tax dollars support governments that refuse to protect their own people? Is our aid aiding a genocide? Nigeria is a nation of tremendous potential, but that potential is being choked out by violent persecution of its Christian population. No country can build a stable future where churches are burned, believers are killed, and communities live in fear. The United States must stay engaged, and Nigeria must change course now. Nigeria is the deadliest place on earth to be a Christian today. Since 2019, tens of thousands of Christians in Nigeria have been slaughtered as part of a sustained pattern of religiously motivated violence by Islamist jihadis ignored or enabled by the Nigerian government. Extremist groups like Boko Haram are allowed to operate without any meaningful response from authorities. A courageous leader named Mazi Nnamdi was convicted in a farce show trial for speaking out about what's happening. He's currently serving a life sentence in prison, convicted on false terrorism charges. I implore my colleagues to support my bill, HRES 1321, calling on the Nigerian government to conduct another trial in accordance with its own constitution based on evidence, with access to legal counsel, medical care, and international law pertaining to humane conditions of detention, or, better yet, release Mazi Nnamdi immediately and unconditionally. America gives billions to Nigeria. We will not continue to fund a Christian genocide. We have the moral obligation to stand up so our Christian brothers and sisters can worship the Lord our God in peace. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
All right, that was basically it. All of the submissions are being given to Trump, but the big question is this: why does the U.S. comment or validation or whatever seem to be something of import in this part of the world? Both the current government of the day and Nigerians actually somehow solicit for some kind of pat in the back comments or whatever from the U.S. President, Mr. Donald Trump. But is it going to make any difference whatsoever if he decides to directly interfere in our local politics? Will it change anything? I mean, I'm just asking the basic question. But hey, we're going to be talking about that in the course of the conversation this evening with Barrister Fred Nzako. He's going to be my analyst this evening. So kindly just hold on, okay? I have a premise. I have where we're heading to. Now, I don't know if you guys saw a video that went viral across social media talking about Facebook, Twitter, that is now X, and other platforms, which has elicited conversations across several forums by Nigerians. A particular police officer, though it's not the first time we've seen a policeman harass young persons, extort from them, and all. But the reason why this garnered this kind of attention is because of the state police bill. Like, this institution is bedeviled with corruption, is bedeviled with a lack of professional ethics in conducting their duty. How will the implementation of the state police be? How would it work? And obviously, there's some kind of segmentation or tribalism or sensationalism within the Nigerian police. How then will they take up their duty objectively when having to address or deal with Nigerians? It's a very big conversation, to be honest with you. And so obviously, this is basically what has set the polity, let's not say a place, but literally everyone is agog and a boss with that. Now, a particular Reverend Father or Catholic priest, Father Angelo Chidi is claiming that Igbo deny their identity in Nigeria due to hatred and intimidation from other tribes. For example, this particular police officer accosted a passerby or a passenger, a vehicle owner, somebody driving on that expressway heading towards Akure. Now, he asked this man for his vehicle documentation, if the vehicle was properly documented, his papers, identity, everything, including his driver's license, which this man gave to him, and he was checking it. He asked him a question where he was coming from. The man said he's coming from the UK and he's heading towards, Akure and all of that. He asked him what for, is it for work or whatever? And all of those responses were given to that particular police officer. So he asked for something and the man said, oh, sorry, I really don't have anything for you. Maybe another time or something. The man said, you should be lucky yourself that you are not Igbo or any other person. You may have been detained or taken to the police custody. And the man said, why? And then the police officer gave him the paper, but kept his driver's license and put it in his pocket and was, going forward, just going along. And the man said, what about my driver's license? The man said, go and park somewhere. The man said, park where? The police officer said, park there. He said, what did I do? Why are you going away with my driver's license? What exactly did I do? Now, the statement made by that police officer on that expressway by saying that you're lucky if you were Igbo, it would have been something else. And the big question is, why would you make such a comment to a Nigerian? Precisely. So you're saying if that man's tribe was from the southeast or from the Igbo, even if the person has all his documentations, papers and everything, you wouldn't care, you would have detained him to extort him, which brought the conversation about the militarization and the heavy military presence along the corridors in the southeast. And now there have been complaints by inter-society, comprehensive reports of the level of extortion carried out by military and police personnel along that corridor from some young persons who are traveling down to their different locations in the southeast. Extortion is so enormous to the point that in some instances, if you do not give them that money, you'll be immediately labeled as an IPOB member, and before you know, you may even be murdered and killed, and your body deposited in an unknown location. And if anybody asks or whatever, they'll just claim that you were IPOB. No documentation to present, no evidence whatsoever to present. So people plying that corridor just pay to avoid any of those things, or somebody harassing you, delaying you, or keeping you somewhere until it's very late. So the big question is, where are we headed? And why would you want some people to be afraid of identifying where they come from? I will confess to you, I went on Twitter and I tweeted, I said, I'm really scared because I'm an Igbo lady, and I'm really scared if this is what we have devolved to. Do I need to change my name or my surname to a Fulani name or another tribe that is wholesomely acceptable by Nigerians, just so that I can feel safe and go about my businesses? I got responses from other persons by saying, this is what they want, you're being a coward, and all of those statements. But you don't understand if you've not been put in such a position where just because of where you come from, you've already been immediately profiled. In some instances, justice is not given to you. So is it politics that brought us to this point? Or are we going through the civil war, but this time again in a different manner?
That is it. We are going through the civil war. It's not a joke. Some of you think it's a joke. It's not.
Nigerians. It's a very big deal if you do not understand it. So this father was saying that we need to understand where we're headed, and also trying to assuage and encourage those from the southeast to not be afraid or ashamed of their identity, to remain strong and be proud of where they come from, being the fact that they're all used to this, that they will always survive and stay strong. So in that regard, rather than being able to apprehend a terrorist would you have profiled that person's ethnicity before even trying to investigate who the person is? Or what if that person is a terrorist from a different ethnic group and then you just let them go just because they're not from a region that you have sentiment towards? So this obviously set the polity agog and the conversation about professionalism within the Nigerian police and how they intend to go ahead with the state police if we're already experiencing this, how they'll be used for political reasons. It's a very huge deal in this regard. My analyst this evening is Barrister Fred Nzako, who is a political, national, and social affairs commentator. Barrister Fred Nzako will be responding to some of these questions this evening on the evening rush. It's quite imperative that we discuss some of these issues and obviously have a headway towards ensuring that Nigeria has a proper trajectory in their destination. In the meantime, we're currently streaming live on YouTube, so it's at VOP 903 FM and VOP 903 FM on YouTube. Barrister Fred Nzako, good evening and thank you for joining us today on the evening rush. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening.
How are you, sir?
Very well.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, Barrister, it's a Friday and we have quite a lot of issues to discuss. We'll get into that. But Barrister Fred Nzako, let's look at the political climate and how it will affect the upcoming elections in 2027. For example, there are talks that the political climate is what has caused more division than cohesion and unity in the country. Is that true? The current political climate, which a couple of persons consider toxic or acidic, is what has kept us in this conundrum where sort of issues being looked into objectively. What is considered before anything else is where you come from, or your region precisely. Related to a particular video that went viral on social media, which has set the polity agog. Did you watch that? Did you watch that particular video that went viral?
Expected to be the vanguard of security and protection of lands and properties of the people. And with the viral nature of that video and the utter condemnation it has received, we expect that the authorities of the police force will then pull those men out and ask them very critical questions. And of course, if that is their mindset, they don't deserve to be in the police force. Because for all intents and purposes, the police organization is expected and supposed to be not just impartial, but passionate about respect for human rights and respect for civility, passionate about respect for dignity of the citizens that they are expected to protect. And that attitude of that policeman, as careless and as reckless as it looked, deserves to be very seriously addressed by the authorities. And the politicians themselves, who are the ones spewing the terrible, dangerous narratives, the grounds, the weary others who fall under the box in that kind of infamy. Because you recall several instances of politicians trying to undermine
country, not the politicians, even traditional rulers. I remember one statement by of Lagos when he threatened to push the section of the people into the lagoon. I think it was the Igbos. And I remember where the refinery of Nigeria in the final video then.
In 2019.
2019 made insinuations and undermined the unity of the country and the integrity of the people. And you can also remember a not in the circle led by President Muhammad Buhari. So if such high-ranking state people who are supposed to be statesmen and women, high-ranking officials of government and the corridors of power could make such incendiary statements that undermine the unity and oneness of the country. And like the old saying that when the father of the house is reckless, the children become something else. So if the leaders of the country, as high as the presidency and other top leaders or top traditional rulers of the country, would be making such derogatory, tribalistic, ethnic-based hate and sentimental speeches, then the average policeman on the street would feel that that is the norm, even when ordinarily the policeman should know that what he was saying was very reckless and very, very unacceptable. So I think that time has come for Nigeria to begin to work towards unity of the country, such that that old age-long narrative of the country being a geographical expression would be abandoned, because we can continue after 66 years of independence. We can continue to still remain a geographical expression with all the experiences that we've had as a country. One is expected that we should begin to fuse as a nation, because even though we have so many tribes and so many tongues and languages, but we are not the highest in the country. I mean, in the world. We're not the highest in the world. I think Nigeria is about the fourth or the fifth country with the highest number of tribal tongues. But if the others can find a way of harnessing their diversity to unify themselves even in diversity, they can harness their diversity to strengthen themselves. There is nothing wrong with Nigeria becoming strong. We call it unity in diversity by understanding ourselves, tolerating one another, and ensuring that the greatest cardinal law is the love for your neighbor as you love yourself.
Wow, Barrister Fred, very good one. Now let's look at this from time immemorial. Let's just say from when Nigeria decided to play politics in a democratic setting. There have been talks that those from the Southeast don't know how to play this politics. In fact, this kind of conversation emerged after the 2023 general elections, that they do not know how to align or be diplomatic to the kind of politics that we do here is very different, strategic. You need to do what you call strategic alignment, strategic connections, kind of be a national representation across all the 6 geopolitical zones, where you're known, where there is no fear about intentions and all of that. And that has always been the bane for those from the Southeast. And some persons will say that that's the reason why they don't understand the concept of politicking in Nigeria. And then the big question is, what is the concept of politicking, or how does it go? I mean, should one do something that they're not akin to, they do not understand, or is not even considered normal for you to be accepted generally by everyone? Most of the issues that transpired in the past, most persons currently in government were not really active in it. They were little at the time. So why should the issues of the past be a bane or be an obstacle to anyone who has an ambition, specifically from the Southeast? That's one aspect of the conversation. Number two, there are talks that Southeastern leaders have not really represented the region so well. been all about their personal interests, their purses, their bellies, and their pockets, which has led the Southeast vulnerable. And so when it comes to politicking, they're not really considered majorly, all right, in terms of alignment or in terms of whatever input they desire or whatever it is they intend to be part of. So how are we playing it now that is not the right way to play it? Where did that misalignment come from?
The critical question you have asked is very germane, and that is, you ask what is the concept of politics? That question, once you answer that question, you have answered all the issues relating to other ancillary questions that go with it. What is the concept of politics? What is politics? Politics is a process of selection of leadership. Selection input. That process may involve appointment, it may involve election, it may involve any way and manner whereby some people are drawn up to lead the others. And that leadership involves trust and confidence of the people. Because as human beings, we are expected to live in organized setting whereby not everybody will be able to do the same thing. But some people or one or two people will be elected to do one or two things on behalf of the rest. And in the process, they will be accountable to the people for whom they are serving and for whom they have earned that mandate and authority to lead. That is essentially politics. And when you now begin to talk about political economy, you now dive into or bring into the realm of allocation of scarce resources through political means. How do you allocate resources? How do you determine who gets what through political means? Now you begin to look at political administration, you look at political economy, you look at the socio-political issues in any country or in any environment. Now, sociologists and the scholars have identified the fact that in any political activity where those who are expected or elected to lead or serve the people begin to serve themselves, then politics have broken down. The whole concept of politics is no longer what it is expected to be. Now, what do we have in Nigeria? Do we have politics for altruistic purposes, which is for the service of the people? Or do we play politics for personal aggrandizement, for the service of self and cronies? Experience has shown that the model and pattern of politics we play in Nigeria is the second in the later type that is essentially aimed at cronyism, nepotism, selfishness, and the settlement of self and cronies. And that is why the concept of nepotism has gone so high that even the basic principle of recognition of federal character has been brought to the dust. Today, the politics we play in Nigeria is no longer that of altruism or service-oriented politics, but that of me, myself, and I, whereby once you settle yourself, settle your family, down to the 10th generation that you cannot even imagine, then settle your people who you feel are your people, without knowing that the person you call your people, or the person you call your person because he is your tribal man, may not eventually be your person. If you look at the parable of the Good Samaritan in the Holy Book, the Holy Bible, the statement tells you that the man who is from your tribe, but who has no love for you, is not your person. And then who should you protect? You should protect everybody that comes under the jurisdiction of your authority. Now, when you say the Igbos don't know how to play Nigerian politics, it is simply because they have not learned to play tribal and ethnic politics. You remember the Ezekiel when God politically savvy enough to play Nigerian politics. But still keeps more interested in what Nigeria matters. When they said we should forget our differences and fuse a nation with unity, I want to tell them that we shouldn't forget our differences. We should understand them and then protect them. When the agitation for independence was at its peak, as a matter of fact, it was very clear and saying that they were not ready for independence. And even the urge to secede from the Nigeria that they were trying to package there, the first urge came from the north. When the British, that were the colonial masters, tried to package Nigeria and deliver a Nigeria that had never worked. A Nigeria that was economically and politically structured to serve the interests of Britain. And it has become so up to today. Now, with benefit of hindsight and with the knowledge that we have, shouldn't our people, the current leaders, sit back and take the right steps towards fusing the country into a united entity that will be filled with justice, fairness, and equity? And I can tell you that there is no country in the world where there is massive and crass injustice as we have in Nigeria that will make progress. So Nigeria is the one holding herself down. Nigerian leaders are the ones holding down Nigeria by unbridled injustice that we see every day keeps growing in leaps and bounds. And that injustice is rendered on Nigerian people even from the cradle, right from the cradle. Start from the issue of unity school and the primary school. Go to the issue of the so-called government colleges. Go to the issue of employment. Go to government agencies and establishments. Who do you see? Today, the complaint is that once you are in power, the language of the office will change to your mother tongue. And we say it and we think it doesn't matter. And that is why you don't have a national ethos. There is nothing like value orientation in Nigeria. And that is why you have over 230 million people with very few citizens. Who is a citizen of Nigeria? Yes, you have champions, ethnic, tribal champions, but you have very, very few people who are Nigerians in Nigeria. And that is why at every turn and at every twist, you will see people who are making efforts to grab it, take it, and run away with it. Where do they run to? They run to their enclave. When they grab it at the center, they run away with it towards their enclave. And that is why a president of Nigeria would have moved railway construction into another country, completely suffering country, simply because it serves the interests of his tribesmen. And that's why you see a president of Nigeria supporting another country to gain an office at the African Union, or AU then, against his country's man. And that is why you will see that there is a development that is lopsided. And the people are seeing it. When those who feel marginalized and deprived see this obvious deprivation, how do you expect them to react? You don't expect them to become, to patronize the system that segregates against them and deprives them of their basic rights as citizens. So, when you begin to say, oh, the Southeasterners, they don't know how to play politics, it is because most likely they have not learned enough to play the tribal politics. And that is why they go to every part of the country. They establish there, they marry there, they do everything there. Even some of the things that they do there are greater than what they do in their homeland. You suppose that with some other tribesmen and find out who really are the true Nigerians in Nigeria, and who really are the ones who love Nigeria, and who really are the ones who want a united Nigeria because of the Republican and egregious nature of the Igbo man of the Southeast. He operates better when there is unity around the country. But when there is lopsided intentional policy targeted at them, and you don't expect them to keep quiet, naturally cry out. And that's exactly what you are seeing today. And that is why there is this iron ceiling placed at the roof, at the top, at the head of an average Igbo man, whereby when they say, oh, they will not allow him to rule, who are the they? They are the people who can against the Easterners, who can against the Southeast, and who you see it happen, and it came to a very strong end in 2023. And up to today, men or women of conscience will tell you that the result of the 2023 general election did not reflect the mandate and the vote of the people. Now we are approaching another election, and you see the diatribe, you see the combination of sentiments, negative sentimentalism, propelled against the people that they feel, oh, they are too wise, we will not allow them. They are too good, we will not allow them. They are braggarts. Meanwhile, in every environment, if you understand the nature of the people, that is the only way you will live in harmony with them. Meanwhile, the same people that you are claiming that they are too good, they are too wild, they are too brash, are making waves all around the world. When they break the ice, any part of the world, oh, you claim that these are Nigerians. You're proud of them. But when you come home, do you give them people recognition? Will you even allow them to come and bring in their God-given talent, integrity, and enterprise to be able to push the country and take it to the next level? Nigerians are holding Nigeria down, essentially because of the level of injustice, crass injustice, and the policies that we see in the land. Until we change our mental construct. And that is why President Obama will continue to tell you that, yes, for those of you who are championing restructuring, have you restructured your mind? Sometimes, somehow, I agree with you. That why would they structure the polity? Why would they structure the policies? Why would they structure the environment? We also need to restructure our mental construct.
Barrister, thank you very much. We're going to take a very short break. Barrister, we'll take a very short break and we'll continue after this. Barrister, please do kind of stay on the line, ladies and gentlemen. On how to maintain your health naturally. And yes, it's completely free. In case you're asking that question, it's completely free. Okay? So why do you have to wait? Visit this Saturday, the 25th of July, at Nigeria Post that the Nigerian government at Boko Haram, or the Nigerian military, or the Nigerian defense system had a 40-day truce with Boko Haram. And he said he doesn't care. He also made statements that in some instances he's been blocked when you try to reach the relevant authorities on making, suggestions on how to resolve all of this. And the DSS took him up immediately after that statement or that outing. Almost the same thing like what happened with El Rufai. So big question is this. Are the Nigerian security agencies not saying they do not know? Are the DSS coming to pick him up? Is he saying a lie? They have not sent any statement to distance themselves or a rebuttal as to that statement made. The only person who made a statement as a rebuttal was Mr. Ali Dumi, a senator. So what's your take on this, sir, very quickly before we move to Atiku, Tinubu, and Obasanjo?
In as much as the SSS has the authority to call anybody they feel as opposed a threat to state security or has made statement that may undermine state security, it is very, very important that the SSS is very conscious of their image before the public, because in the first instance they are not expected to be a state security service for the executive. When we say the state includes the leaders and the led. So they have a responsibility not only to the leaders, but also to the led. I say this with all sense of responsibility because their attitude towards Professor Martin Agaj, a 74-year-old emeritus professor of cardiothoracic surgery, the one who carried out the first open heart surgery in Nigeria and handled a heart transplant at University of Nigeria also in Enugu. His home was overlaid by SSS arrested him and his daughter to Lagos, only for them to apologize to them that they made a mistake. Esther, can you imagine such? The tremor, the psychological shock that the prof went through has not left him as we speak. Now, we need to begin to ask the security agencies, especially the SSS, should know that in as much as they are working for the state, they do realize that the state comprises of the leaders and the led. Any attempt to only work for the interests of the leaders, undermining the interests and the protection of the people, the led, is below their expectation in office. Now, the man who gave such statement and open statement to the media, we expected that he should be called to give more information. It shouldn't be by way of an arrest, it should be by way of an invitation to appreciate what he has said. And while doing so, he deserves the state protection. So that we will learn from him. Nobody has monopoly of knowledge or wisdom. If there are things that he knows that the state does not know, after all, nobody is a spirit. So that they will get information from him and utilize that information towards enhancing the security and lives of the Nigerian people, which of course we have continued to say, according to section 14.2 of the Constitution, that the basic essence of the governance is for the security and lives of the people. So if a man like that had such information and has avoided that in the public, I do not expect that the reaction of the government to the SSS would be to just arrest him and then target the criminal and possibly throw him into the dungeon. I expected that they should bring him close and get to understand, get the facts in what it's saying, and utilize any charm, any wit, any need in his statement, and towards enhancing their job as security officers. The man mentioned some names, and some of the names that he mentioned, a lot of them have not come out to debunk his narrative. Even the senator that he mentioned, that he come out to under his right of reply, a lot of the issues are still hanging. So that tells you that so many things, the lot of water is passing under the bridge. The government knows everything. The government has the capacity to know everything because the government can hire anybody. The government can have access to any information under the sun. Anyone that is not immediately available in the country, the government, the same government, has the capacity to get that information from outside. So I do not think that anything that is going on in Nigeria has been the radar of government. Of course, the other better said so, that any insecurity situation that lasts beyond 1 week that must have the knowledge of the government. Whether the government wants to act in one way or the other is up to them. And then only they, as government, will explain to Nigerian people.
All right, Barrister, very quickly. Atiku, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his former principal, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, seem to be in a triangle. Now, Atiku is asking Tinubu to submit himself for a fresh probe concerning the narcotics case. Okay, because the presidential spokesperson, responded, that if they were in China, Atiku is meant to rot in jail. Anyway, he made that statement, but nothing ran out of it. They said that the statement and utterance Atiku is making is unsubstantiated and has no basis whatsoever, but rather he should focus on internal politics rather than having to create a sense where there will be some interference from international individuals or from the international polity. He should focus his own political tactics internally, or rather it's a domesticated issue, so he should do what you call domesticated politics and not export the situation. Now, in that regard, Atiku is responding by telling him, Oga, stop your long English, submit yourself for more probe to the US. Obasanjo is now also saying that he was tackling Oshoba. He said Atiku was one that folded his impeachment plot. He also, Atiku in responding to Obasanjo now said, Mr. Obasanjo, stop all this your recycled allegations. Nobody believes them. Who is your your 2027 candidate. Declare your 2027 candidate and stop all those recycled allegations. Tell us whom you prefer, whom you're supporting for 2027, and stop all those allegations you're making because they are not true. And that Obasanjo has continued to attack him for no reason, which a couple of persons feel is the impediment for Atiku why he has not, for one reason or the other, won any elections he has been part of. What's your take on that?
If the conversations in Nigeria in 2026 will be circling around men that are over 80 years, does that not worry you? Does that not worry Nigerians? That our political conversations in this day and age will always be around men who are in their 80s, men who had the opportunity at one time or the other in the past to lead the country, men whose result of leadership have accumulated to put Nigeria and place Nigeria at tourist states that it is today. When in other parts of the world, we are talking about the new generation. We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about the Gen Zs. We're talking about the youth. We're talking about the young ones who have energy and the capacity to take over and run the country. If Nigeria is now, they know that when a young person falls, he's looking forward to where he's going. But when an old man falls, he looks back. Looking back, yes, might be as a result of experience, but it is also as a result of baggage of the past. I expected and I had hoped and thought that when we say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, their tomorrow should be very important. When we begin to propagate not you too young to run, we should be aiming at the youth and not just on paper. But today, the whole game is about the past. Out of the major presidential candidates of the country, the pendulum should be swinging in the direction of the younger ones who have the capacity and who have the experience and the energy to run the country. But today, where are the narratives? Old men that will sit down at a meeting and doze off, and by the time the image and their picture of dozing off surfaces, their media handlers will begin to attack the public as if that was not natural. Age is one thing that you can never change nature about. When it comes, it must come. And it's the only thing that can never come down once it continues to go up. So why are we deceiving ourselves? The issues about leadership, anybody who wants to lead others, like we say that in Julius Caesar, that the leader must not just be above board, but must be manifestly be seen to be above board.
Sure.
You can't have baggages and you come out to lead your people. You cannot. So the narrative about, submit yourself to inspection, submit yourself to examination, it cannot die. It will always be there, because if you submit yourself to be elected as a leader, you should as well submit yourself for examination. Because the life of every leader is like an open book. Otherwise, you go back to the house. Because the people you need to lead have no confidence in your integrity. But very recently, Singapore elected their leaders. And the man they chose, what are the principles, what are the characters that they look at? Integrity, track record, honesty, humility, passion. These are the things that make up a leader. It is not how much you have in your bank account. It's only Nigeria that you begin to determine leadership by wealth.
Yes, so the depth of your finance.
That wealth must be examined, thoroughly examined.
Exactly. The source of the wealth needs to be questioned.
Is it when you steal, you say you are rich? A thief cannot claim to be a rich man. A thief is a thief and not a rich person. Because he is holding on to what? To the spoils of his was so incensed and angry with the men and women, especially the men he was seeing at the floor of the National Assembly, especially the Senate, that the majority of them were 419ers crooks, drug barons, and the people that he chased around when he was in the police force. And he was so disappointed that he had come to the National Assembly and they are listening in the same chamber, looking at his face. And he threatened to mention their names. The next president pleaded with him to avoid the scandal on the floor, that he shouldn't mention their names. And the man was so angry. It happened live. And so many other examples about leaders who were crooks, who were thieves, known thieves, occupying positions of authority in Nigeria. How can a country grow? You cannot give what you don't have. If a leader does not have integrity, how do you expect him to be talking about honesty? Anywhere he sees he wouldn't wait to see the other letters that go with integrity. He will do it that way and run away. Because he does not have it. And time has come when we should begin to talk about leadership based on integrity, passion, honesty, and the credible track record. And not, because it's my brother from my own side. He's my trustman. If they give you food, if they put sugar in your mouth, will you feel it that way? These are discussions, traditional discussions by the masses who ordinarily should be asking questions. Because the man who is a thief, if he gets position of authority, he cannot stop stealing. Because he is a DNA. He cannot. And that is why one of the presidential candidates said that it is any man who has opportunity to steal something and he refuses to steal it has conquered his greed, has conquered the urge to steal, and has that level of integrity that is required of a leader. How many of our leaders fall into that bracket? Would Nigerians talk to themselves, call themselves to a meeting, and address the issues that worry them? You go and elect a thief, or you allow a thief to lead you, and you come back tomorrow and expect the church to have a change or a same country. That cannot happen. So while we look toward the direction of selection of leadership, we must not lose sight of the fact that integrity, honesty, and credibility are the major, when you add it to capacity, these are the major ingredients of leadership. And not, how much does he have? How much is he ready to bring? How much has he brought? How much is he ready to give us? Because at the end of the day, we have seen from experience that the more he gives you to bribe you, the more he sees from you when he has the opportunity that you have given him as your leader. It is very important that Nigerians must take home as we approach 2027 election and in our march toward enhancing our democracy. Otherwise, we are not deceiving ourselves.
Barrister Fred Nzako, thank you so much for your perceptions and submissions this evening. We sincerely do appreciate your input, sir.
Many thanks.
All right, Barrister. God bless you. Enjoy your weekend. All right. Well, quite the conversation in there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get your reaction on the evening rush based on what we discussed this evening. Please, I beg you in the mighty name of God, no insults, no derogatory statements, speak with facts, not sentiments. The idea is to move forward, and please, any recommendation that we can give to make this country better, I always say we don't have any other place to call home but here. That's the essence of the conversation we have here. The essence is to educate ourselves and also come for inclusivity and see how we can ensure that we have proper governance. The important thing is proper governance. If the government of the day said, vote for me, I promise to prioritize you, and then you're not prioritizing, it is our responsibility to ask them, why are you not prioritizing us? It's our responsibility to ask them, why have you left us behind? All right, 08036929933. That's the number to call. The WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Prince Chigozie.
Prince Chigozie, welcome, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Yaba College of Medicine.
Yaba College of Medicine.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir. Please go ahead.
I appreciate your job you're doing.
Thank you.
You're enlightening some people who doesn't know what's happening in the country. Like so many ways. When I listen to your program, I discover so many things which I don't even know that such a thing is moving on in this country. Your program has enlightened me so many things which I will not know the left and right what to do. You know, I thank the barrister who took the time to analyze the issues very, very well. Each time I listen to him, I am so impressed. My thanks goes to him also.
Thank you, sir.
Please hold on the barrister. Back up. He's a man of integrity. When I listen to him, I'm so impressed. Also, barrister, that I don't have much to say about Obasanjo and Atiku. They know themselves right from time. What is happening, they know themselves. So I thank you for your program. It makes a lot of us, normally we Igbos, to know the deep down of what is happening in Nigeria. May God bless you, my sister.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Good night, sir.
Bye. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Hello? Yes, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
Welcome. How are you doing?
This is Emeka from Business.
Emeka, welcome.
Yeah. Esther, I want to ask, what did the Igbo people give to Nigeria that made them to always get them? Look at the comment that a particular police officer they take a watch which you refers to. Now suppose
Hello? Emeka, your network no good. He's calling from WhatsApp. All right, 08036929933. That's the number to call. Hello, good evening. Calm down the volume of your radio, sir. Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Usman from Ijegu.
Usman from Ijegu.
Yes.
Mr. Usman, is this your first time of calling?
No, Bushman.
Bushman.
Yes. That's my name.
Mr. Bushman, is this your first time of calling us?
No, I changed my name. It's not the first time I called.
All right, Mr. Bushman. Why did you change your name?
That is the name I bear for now.
Mr. Bushman, what are you running away from? Welcome.
Good evening,
Good evening.
I appreciate you people. You are doing a nice job.
Welcome, sir.
Nigeria is better place.
Welcome.
The barrister that is located today, I so much respect that man like I respect barrister directly. You can see a total comprehensive analysis I give about Nigeria and about the topics that we are talking about today. You understand?
Yes, sir.
See such people, such wise people in the society. You know, I appreciate you people. I always pray for you. For your life.
Got to stop it
People
here.
that we are
We're
dealing
going to
with
see again.
are so wicked
It's
and
late.
they're foolish that they can do anything. God will continue to protect you people in Jesus' name.
Amen.
And come to what we are talking about Nigeria's leadership and everything. What do you expect from such people? The people that you can remember, you said something about the statement that was made by the First Lady in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes. Those are the kind of people that are really Nigeria. You understand? And the mindset. If I should ask you a question, you understand?
Hello? Bushman. What's happened now? Also, what's going on? Call will just come in and go calls. Organic them. Hello, good evening.
yes, man, this is a cover.
Emeka, who was calling you? You're still calling on WhatsApp. Indie Begging will call you again. Go ahead.
Esther, what I'm saying is, the hatred they are hating Igbos are making on it. The more they are hating Igbo keep on moving forward and keep on growing further. Esther, the person that ladies, to understand. Now, the people that are giving us, all of them are Jews. And what are we going to get such a people that only care to looking for their own pocket, that doesn't care about the family? They only care for their family, send their family abroad with the tax money of Nigeria, oil money of Nigeria, while the masses of the Nigerian are suffering. I mean, it is for Nigerians to learn this. There are remaining other tribe, our brothers, and voting for, and they also even see the money from their brothers. That's for them. So let us keep on moving. And let's keep on answering one Nigeria and it's ourselves and allow wicked and criminals to really know until we wake up as a Nigeria.
Alright, thank you very much, sir. Quadri Suleiman on YouTube. It's quite unfortunate. I don't know who fractured you psychologically. I really don't know your affiliation, but Quadri, regardless of the political party that you represent, you don't need to express this kind of hatred. It doesn't make sense. Politics is politics, but sanitize your mindset, sanitize your psychology. I don't know what happened to you. I really don't know who affected you. I really don't know who fractured your psychological state. I don't know who hurt you. I really don't know your orientation or your upbringing or your educational qualification or educational exposure. That your line of thought is this basic and primitive. It's wrong, it's bad. I would implore you to help yourself. Now you can make your assertions based on your observations or why you think that no Igbo person can ever become a president in this country. You can highlight several issues or several things, or you can highlight those you prefer or rather those you don't prefer. But to give such narratives, it's really not proper, and I think you're quite exposed unless you're not, or possibly you're a junkyard reason in a junkyard manner. But on a platform like this on YouTube where you have such international audiences, I would implore you to act civil, okay? Act very civil. It doesn't represent a good taste of your personality. Your name is actually quite amazing, but the kind of person that you are seems you have a spiritual problem. All right, 08036929933. That's the number to call. Hello.